Making sure your vote counts first means making sure you're registered to vote. Tonight, we're taking a look at how current numbers are comparing to the 2016 elections.
Plus, tonight, the governor addressing a spike in COVID cases statewide.
And later, it's a perfect example of teamwork at its finest, helping this bear find the woods once again.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Also tonight, we're tracking outside spending on the governor's race. Thanks for making the MTN 530 News on KRTV a part of your night. I'm Tim McGonigal.
And I'm Hallie Schwannard. That spending has almost reached $20 million. But first tonight, the November election is sure to have a big impact on the future of the country.
It's no surprise you may be seeing more information ahead of the election about registering to vote. And today is National Voter Registration Day.
MTN's Coulter Anstad takes a look at voter registration across our area.
From social media alerts to Google's Doodle to good old-fashioned snail mail, a massive effort is underway nationwide to get people to register to vote. And based on some voter registration numbers locally, the effort may be paying off.
In 2016, we had about 39,800, and we're up to 49,000, almost 600 right now.
Cascade County's clerk and recorder expects that number to continue to increase, with a little over a month still to go before Election Day.
Given the political environment, no, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Speaking of the political environment, it's creating a bit of a headache for offices statewide.
There are some mailings out there by the different political parties that are confusing our voters. You know, we have a big job to do, and then to continue to answer the phones and to go through the mailings that people are sending in that are unnecessary. It just adds an extra burden.
Elsewhere across west central Montana, Fergus County has about 500 more registered voters so far than 2016, and Glacier County has about 6,500 registered voters currently. In 2016, less than 4,000 ballots went out in Glacier County, meaning in theory there could be at least nearly twice as many people voting in 2020 than in 2016.
The whole crux of it was mostly for Little Shell members to participate and get registered.
Local Native American tribes like the Little Shell tribe in Great Falls are also seeing a good response to efforts to get members registered to vote.
It's vital that they do vote. Their vote does count. And if you look at a lot of the past elections, the native vote in Montana was basically the deciding or swing vote.
An important message for what is sure to be a very important election. In Great Falls, Coulter Anstad, MTN News.
To find out how you can register to vote, click on the link in this story on our website, krtv.com.
Attorneys for the Republican Party and the Trump campaign accused Governor Bullock of creating chaos on the eve of the election, with his decision allowing counties to implement vote by mail in November. But attorneys for the state and other parties to the suit say the GOP is throwing county election officials a curve and showing no evidence mail balloting will lead to fraud. Those arguments made in U.S. District Court in Missoula this afternoon as both sides try to convince a judge to rule as counties plan on using vote by mail as a safety precaution during the pandemic. The judge says he has a lot of work to do before coming up with a ruling. More on this tonight at 10.
State health experts this morning to address the increase of daily COVID-19 cases. Montana reported more than 270 new cases in 2 out of the last 4 days and has seen a sizable increase in average daily COVID cases since July. The state has attributed a lot of the recent cases to congregate settings like schools, jails, and nursing homes. The state also cites Labor Day activities and social distancing fatigue as significant contributing factors for many cases. State Medical Officer Dr. Greg Holtzman said the increase in numbers is a troubling trend that will only bring more suffering to Montana families unless more people begin following COVID guidelines like wearing a mask and limiting social gatherings.
When disease rates rise, we see more suffering, we see more death. We see schools that have to close down, not necessarily because of a health mandate, because we don't have teachers to teach or students to learn. We can see businesses suffer as people are concerned about going out and acquiring the virus.
The White House recently released a memorandum encouraging states to fine individuals not following mask guidelines in high COVID positive areas. Bullock says he will not be implementing an action like that, saying ultimately a fine won't stop the virus. Only the collective actions of Montanans will have an impact. Well, air quality conditions are getting lower as hazy conditions move back in for some on this first day of autumn. Meteorologist Grant Garland joins us now to tell us more. Grant?
That's right, Tim. Good evening, good evening, everyone. Happy first day of fall. And we have been looking at our smoke plumes starting to move back into the Treasure State. Zooming on in here, we're actually seeing some light to medium plumes down towards the south in Bozeman and Billings that have been making their way up towards Helena and Lewistown over the last couple of hours. And we are seeing right now moderate conditions for Lewistown, Bozeman, as well as Butte and Missoula. Still seeing good conditions for those in Helena and Great Falls as well as Malta. Temperatures right now 69 degrees in Great Falls, 74 in Havre, 85 though out towards Glasgow. And windy conditions down towards Butte at 14 miles an hour, 13 in Cutbank and 10 in Helena. Now over the last 3 hours we've been looking at a few spotty showers, but we actually haven't been able to pick up any precipitation on our sites. Right now, as we head throughout the next several hours, by 9 p.m. 55 degrees, and temperatures tonight will be in the 40s for most, 43 in Great Falls. Coming up, we're going to talk about windier conditions moving into the Treasure State, but for now, back to you.
All right, thanks, Grant. An organization is hiring thanks to funds focused on building economic stability. Sarah Converse with Sweetgrass Development said economic development districts around the state received $400,000 that will be distributed over 2 years. The new funds will help teams hire individuals who can focus on capacity building and planning. Converse also said a big focus of their nonprofit is agriculture. The money enables them to help businesses in North and Central Montana with growth policies and food sustainability. Sweetgrass Development is smaller than Great Falls Development Authority, and their loan funds were tapped out before the pandemic started, but they partner with GFDA and other agencies around the region to help business owners. Over the past 6 months, Sweetgrass leaders have been sharing important pandemic-related information with individuals and coaching new loan applicants.
Trying to get through the processes. I thought I did everything correctly with this application, and I haven't heard anything yet, so I help them follow up in some things like that.
Sweetgrass Development helps rural businesses in Cascade, Glacier, Teton, Pend Oreille, and Toole counties, along with the Blackfeet Reservation.
Earlier today, Helena Police, Montana Highway Patrol, and Fish, Wildlife and Parks captured and relocated a black bear that was found inside city limits. According to an FWP game warden, the bear was originally spotted near Loki Park, but the bear was on the move. FWP was able to immobilize him, pick him up, and, as we said, safely relocate it. Officials say all things considered, the situation was an easy one to handle, thanks in part to all the teamwork the three agencies displayed.
I'm Mike Dennison in Helena. Outside spending in the Montana governor's race is approaching $20 million. Coming up, I'll have the details.
Hey everybody, Tom Wiley here from KRTV. This is my daughter Cece. Now we love reading books. We read almost every single night, sometimes multiple books per day, and that's why it's important to us to donate to the Scripps Howard Foundation to Give a Child a Book campaign. Of course, you can donate as well. You can find details on our website, krtv.com. All the money donated stays right here in Great Falls.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Welcome back. As we've reported in Montana's gubernatorial race, Republican Greg Gianforte has outspent Democrat Mike Cooney by a 3-to-1 margin so far, thanks in part to $3.5 million that Gianforte has contributed from his own pocket. But the candidates aren't the only ones spending money on this pivotal race. As MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison tells us, outside spending by various groups on the governor's contest will likely approach $20 million by Election Day.
Democrat Mike Cooney has spent about $2 million on his campaign so far, compared to $6.4 million for Republican Greg Gianforte. But Cooney is getting considerable assistance from outside groups. Chief among them is a group called Good Jobs MT, a political action committee financed primarily by the Democratic Governors Association. It had spent $4.3 million through the end of August and has spent or booked another $3.5 million in TV ad time through October. Some of that money has assisted other groups helping Cooney, like the Montana 55 Plus Action Fund and the Montana Conservation Voters Action Fund, which has added another $560,000 of its own spending. And the labor union representing public school teachers and other public employees, the Montana Federation of Public Employees, has spent $2.23 million on ads going after Gianforte or otherwise aiding Cooney. All told, these outside groups are on tap to spend about $11 million on Cooney's behalf in the campaign. On the other side, there is RGA Right Direction PAC, which is financed by the Republican Governors Association. It says it has spent about $4.5 million on Gianforte's behalf, primarily on TV ads attacking Cooney, and has reserved another $3.75 million in TV time through October. That's $8.25 million of outside money helping Gianforte's campaign. So when you add it all together, including the candidate spending, Gianforte still has the edge, but not by much, sort of like the race itself, which is still considered the only closely competitive governor's race in the nation. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Most Montana voters will start getting their ballots in the mail less than 3 weeks, starting on the weekend of October 9th.
Speaking of money, there's a new project underway costing millions. If you notice piles of dirt and other materials off of Highway 87 north of Great Falls, you can expect them to be there for a while. The Montana Department of Transportation began a new months-long project yesterday. The construction area stretches 7 miles on the highway. The project will add additional lanes to the roadway and increase highway capacity. It's funded by the Federal Highway Administration and the state. It will cost about $16 million. An MDT Great Falls administrator stressed the importance of public input to projects like this one.
Sometimes we miss the local flavor of what's going on in that area. So when we have the public input, we can get a better feel of what we need to do, maybe in a particular area, a particular intersection, or maybe the whole project length itself.
The MDT does not expect significant disruptions to traffic in that area until the spring. There will be reduced speed limits and more signs notifying drivers of the work.
Well, temperatures starting us off tomorrow morning, 45 degrees, partly sunny skies for us on our Wednesday. Don't go away. Your 7-day forecast is coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Grant Garland.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you have had a great first day of fall and ready to tackle on tomorrow being Wednesday. Now, our highs observed today, we saw 75-degree temperatures here in Great Falls, a little bit warmer in Lewistown at 80 degrees, down towards Billings around 82. Now, the average for this time of year is right around 68, so yes, we were well above that. The record was set back in 1938 when it was 91 degrees, the same year that Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was a popular film. Taking a look outside across Montana, a few hazy conditions out there. Malta looking at the upper 70s, and Helena 71, and we're seeing in Lewistown clouds building in on the horizon. 69 degrees right now in Great Falls, 74 in Havre, and 85 in Glasgow. Now, we have been actually watching some precipitation move through the area, but here's the thing. Whenever we look at how much has fallen, none of it's really reached the ground except for out towards Kalispell, where we're looking at 0.05 of an inch of rain. Everywhere else, we're just not seeing it hit the ground at all, unfortunately. Now, tomorrow, the driest time of the day will be right around the 4:30 quarter, seeing 22% humidity. The good thing is our temperatures aren't going to be that hot, and our winds around that time aren't going to be gusting that bad. Tomorrow we can be expecting, though, around 25-mile-per-hour gusts. Going throughout the day, some of us will be able to see 20 to 30-mile-per-hour winds, while those down towards Helena are going to be looking at a little bit calmer conditions. But the main threats for our winds will be here on Thursday, when we're seeing 40-mile-per-hour winds possible along the Rocky Mountain front, possibly 55 to 60-mile-per-hour winds. Going throughout the night, showers taper off. We'll see a brief clearing of the clouds, but then they move back in as we start tomorrow morning. And I want to really shift our attention to what's going to happen right around east of Seattle on tomorrow afternoon. It's going to have a cold front. That's going to make its way out towards the Treasure State. As that happens, winds will be picking up. We'll also see rain chances increasing too right behind the front. Now, the thing is that the rain doesn't necessarily make it all the way towards central Montana. So that's going to be the thing. Will Great Falls get hit with a little bit of rain? Possibly. The best chance will be for those towards the west, including Helena. Our temperatures will fall down to around 64 degrees on Friday, then build back up to around 73 for the end part of our weekend. Now, because today's first day of fall, typically we see temperatures right around 68 degrees, but by December 21st, the last day of fall, around 34. So that's around a 34-degree difference. So definitely want to go ahead and make sure that you're starting to think about getting all the winter clothes unpacked. Well, you can always stay weather aware, there we are, by following me on social media, as well as downloading our free KRTV app. It is free and ever present. Temperatures tonight, 43 degrees in Great Falls, 45 in Helena, a little bit warmer out towards Glasgow at 50 degrees. As you walk out the door tomorrow morning, temperatures are going to be in the mid-40s with partly sunny skies, partly cloudy skies. By 1 p.m., 72 degrees. We will have the mix of sun and clouds stay with us pretty much for the next several days, so heads up on that end. 76 degrees tomorrow for our friends in Lewistown, 78 in Jordan, 77 for both Great Falls as well as Helena. And as we go throughout the next couple of days, remember winds will be picking up, especially on Thursday, 40-mile-per-hour winds, keeping that those windy conditions with us on Friday. That's also the best chance that we'll see a few showers, so you might want to just make sure you have your umbrella out and about for that. And then we'll see a dry weekend for the most part. Tim?
Thanks, Grant. Still to come, our mission helping to get books into the hands of children. How you can help next.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching the MTN 530 News.
Studies show the ability to read can help lift children out of poverty, and that's why KRTV and the Scripps Howard Foundation are committed to increasing literacy for children in need.
September kicks off our first If You Give a Child a Book campaign. It strives to help bridge those gaps by donating new books to children who need them most. Tom Wiley introduces us to this year's recipient, West Elementary.
For years, researchers have connected future childhood literacy levels to the education and income of their parents, but a new international 20-year study has found that those aren't the greatest predictors of academic achievement. It has to do with the number of books in their household.
If we were to think of student A who reads 20 minutes a day, they read on average about a year of 1,800,000 words versus a student who might read 1 minute a day and is limited to 8,000 words per year. Just getting that text in the hands and that extra exposure is very important to their development.
And at West Elementary, a Title I school, there are obstacles to getting books in the hands of students.
And often, with lower socioeconomic status, it does bring on a set of challenges in the education system. And so oftentimes the kids have not been exposed to reading or letters or sounds in a way that maybe some other schools or other communities have been.
Educators and researchers agree that making sure kids have access to books now is more important than it's ever been. They point to a phenomena referred to as the COVID slide.
But when kids don't have access to those materials regularly and they don't have the one-on-one instruction and the direct instruction from a teacher, unfortunately they do lose skills that they had practiced and mastered at one time, and now we're seeing regression.
But with the help of KRTV, KXLH, the Scripps Howard Foundation, and the community, you can help get books in the hands of children in need to make sure they don't fall behind.
A lot of kiddos don't have books at home, so we are thrilled at the opportunity to get more books home for our children.
Tom Wiley, MTN News.
If you'd like to help give books to students in need right here in Great Falls, you can visit krtv.com/giveabook. Tune in tomorrow when Tom introduces us to two West Elementary students who explain how books have impacted their lives. And don't go away, we'll be right back.
Well, welcome back. Temperatures tonight, 43 degrees, 45 in Helena and 44 in Hayes. Walking out the door tomorrow morning, mid-40s. You might need to have a little light layer on you, but 72 degrees by 1 p.m. Looking at partly sunny skies for most of us. Temperatures warming up to 77 degrees in both Helena as well as Great Falls, 75 in Havre. Going throughout the next 3 days, a couple things to note. Winds will pick up, 40-mile-per-hour winds possible on Thursday, as well as adding the chance for a few showers. Mainly the best chance to see any rain, though, will be on Friday, continuing with our windy conditions through Saturday, and then mostly cloudy skies on Sunday.
And finally tonight, astronomers have announced a first-of-its-kind discovery in space. The Rosetta mission found a comet that has its own northern lights.
The comet's official name is 67P. NASA says this is the first time it's seen charged particles in the atmosphere surrounding something other than a moon or a planet. Astronomy experts say the discovery is surprising because the comet has no magnetic field.
It's not even colorful there. At least our northern lights are colorful.
Yeah,
So I haven't seen them yet. I got it.
Well, you're in the right place.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
I hear Iceland has the best show ever.
That's where you got to go.
Who's gonna pay for it? I'm ready.
I'm not in.
My bag's will be packed.
A live shot from Iceland.
There you go.
Ooh, I like it. Live from Iceland with Grant Garland.
There you go. That's all the time we have. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.